Now, the university recognises outstanding individuals who've contributed to society and their professions, and we do this through giving honorary awards. Today, we will recognise one of these outstanding individuals. Vice-Chancellor, it was unanimously resolved by the Senate and the Council of the University to confer an honorary degree upon Dame Maggie Aderin. Dr. James Mashell, STEM Curriculum Development Manager, will present the candidate.
Vice-Chancellor, honoured guests, families, friends, and of course, perhaps most importantly of all, graduands, I'm delighted to be here today to provide the oration in honour of Dame Dr. Maggie Aderin as one of our newest honorary award recipients. Maggie embodies the values of inclusion, innovation, excellence, trust, and through her tireless work in promoting access to the importance of STEM subjects for all, by helping to engage young people through her story, she celebrates her differences and the differences we can make. Maggie's career has been as diverse as it has been successful, and she is probably best known for her role in The Sky at Night and her other TV appearances. In my house, my son was a big fan of her reading Aliens Love Underpants as a CBeebies book at bedtime. She is also a prize-winning author, writing books for both adults and young people. Her work in astronomy instrumentation has seen her develop instruments for some of the largest telescopes on and off this planet. She's developed satellite systems to monitor climate control and even landmine detections for the MOD. She's also Chancellor of the University of Leicester. A true polymath, one who draws on complex bodies of knowledge from a wide range of subjects to solve specific problems. Maggie also understands the importance that role models can play. By seeing others, we can understand what makes us unique and how differences can bring new perspectives to the way we work, and in so doing, help us to understand what unites us. Maggie was born in London to Nigerian parents in the 70s into a world still in awe of the moon landings. Young Maggie dreamed of flying into space with the Soup Dragon, the Clangers, and Dr. Spock. Her parents separated at a young age, and in the following years she attended 13 different schools. Due to her dyslexia, she was in her early schooling, in her own words, sidelines with the safety scissors and the glitter. This was contrasted by the encouragement and the importance her father placed on her education, asking her from a young age which university she would go to. Her love of space became the driving force behind her studies, and with this combination of drive and passion, she slowly found that she excelled in areas that others didn't. Getting her first telescope at an early age, she probably didn't see much above the skies of London, especially due to the defects in the telescope causing chromatic aberrations, right? Causing even the brightest objects like the moon to be a rainbow rather than solid. This young engineer set about fixing this problem, joining evening classes to build her own telescope. And she wasn't put off by the fact that she was the only teenage female in a class of 50-something men, learning how to make new mirrors for her telescope. A project which she continued while studying at Imperial College, helping to build the mounts to improve the tracking of the objects across the night sky. After her Ph.D. in mechanical engineering on developing an ultra-thin film for measurement systems, her work in astronomy continued, developing instruments for the 8-metre, that's a huge telescope, in Chile, the Gemini telescope in telescope. She designed bench-mounted spectrometers that can detect subtle changes in spectra of distant stars as planets transit them. Following that, she worked with the multi-million-pound instrumentation on the James Webb Telescope. Maggie's story has helped to inspire thousands of young people, and she continues to visit schools and do face-to-face work with young people today. During the summer of 2023, as the world was going wild for Barbie and Oppenheimer, she was honoured by Mattel with a one-of-a-kind doll of herself for her work on the James Webb Telescope. A fantastic way to think outside of the box for how to inspire the youngest of us to dream and reach for the stars. She has been listed by Powerlist as one of the UK's 10 most influential black people, and our work with the World Dyslexia Assembly sees her promoting it as her superpower. I hear Richard Branson is also involved with the World Dyslexia Assembly, so maybe that dream of going into space will still happen. You've still got a chance. For her work in science education, she received an MBE in 2009, and this was elevated in 2023 to Dame of the British Empire for services to science, education, and diversity. She's truly an outstanding individual and an inspiration to us all. A fantastic example of what you can do if you find your passion and make your difference. Vice-Chancellor, in recognition of her significant achievements in the field of space science and her commitment to making education accessible to all, I have the great pleasure in presenting to you for the honorary degree of Doctor of Science, Dr. Dame Maggie Aderin.
By the power vested in me, I admit you, Dr. Dame Maggie Aderin, to the Doctor of Science of the University of Bradford, and thank you.
Good morning, everyone. And I must give my apologies because I was doing career speed dating at my daughter's school. So yesterday I spoke to about 180 students about future careers. So my voice, we'll see how it hangs out. But first of all, I want to say what an honour it is to be here. Firstly, it's an honour to be invited to join this amazing university. And secondly, it's an honour to be celebrating with this cohort of graduates sort of coming through today, especially engineering graduates. My heart salutes you. and because also I think you're here with your families. I can hear a few kids up there. It's wonderful to see all the hard work you've put in and to be celebrating with your families here today. And also you've been supported by the fantastic staff here at the university, and you're now ready to enter the world and make knowledge work. But thirdly, it's an honour to be here because of this university truly champions diversity and inclusion, confronting inequalities and celebrating inclusion wherever it is. And these are things, as was beautifully said, that I hold very dear myself. But also, I feel amazingly proud to be joining a fantastic array of alumni from this university, which include global politicians, entrepreneurs, authors and composers. I feel that I am joining an amazing community. Now, as it was mentioned, as a child, I would have never thought that I would be standing here in front of you today. I attended sort of 13 different schools. I need to put a caveat on that. Sometimes when I tell people I attended 13 different schools, they look at me and say, you know, how naughty were you? It wasn't like that. Because my parents split up when I was young, I was sometimes with my mum and sometimes with my dad. Some schools just closed. I don't know what happened. I didn't touch them. But yes, it was a sort of a choppy education. And also with the dyslexia, which I do now see as my superpower, it meant that I was definitely at the back of the class with the safety scissors and the glue. And I didn't feel I was going to achieve very much. But I think my experience shows the true power, the transformative power of education. And I think that's what you're experiencing here today as well. This has enabled me to go from sort of the remedial class to a degree in physics and then a Ph.D. in mechanical engineering. And all thanks to the support of wonderful staff and teachers and lecturers throughout. And I think that's one of the reasons I find these ceremonies so joyous, because it shows the power of education to change lives. And it's worked for me, and I think it's working for you too. And as you sort of come up on the stage and you sort of go across and you transfer from sort of graduand to graduate, it is humbling to be part of this ceremony. This is a special occasion for all of you because we are here today and what you do is inspiring. And the world needs real people like you, real people to inspire, real role models. And each one of you is a role model. You are championing the University of Bradford. Now, when a few years ago someone suggested that I might be a role model, I freaked out a bit because I know what I'm really like. I am pathologically late for almost everything. I think it's because I'm an optimist. I try and cram too much in a day. And also, if you see my study, you'll realise how critically untidy I am. And so I thought, I can't possibly be a role model. But I think I got that wrong. To be a role model, you don't have to be perfect. In fact, what I found is when I go out and speak to a kid and I've got jam down my front, they think, oh, look what she's done. What can I do? And so I think to be a role model, we just need to share what we hold passion, what we hold dear, and that's what makes the world a better place. But also I think we all need to have a big, crazy dream. My big, crazy dream has always been getting out there into space. Only about 600 people have ever been out there, and yet I want to be one of them. And I think by having a crazy dream, it enables us to overcome the challenges we face in our everyday lives. Big dreams help us to change the status quo, to sort of literally confront inequality and celebrate diversity. And now, one of the many things that the university excels at here is business. And this is something close to my heart as well, because 20 years ago, I set up my own business, Science Innovation Limited. It started as an acorn of a dream and has now grown into something much, much bigger. And Bradford was the first university in the UK to set up its own business school. And it also now is one of the very few universities to be triple accredited. But also, this was the first university to actually set up a Department of Peace Studies. And I love that idea of peace triumphing over war. We can't just leave it for football. We need it to in everything in our everyday lives. And so I think that drive for peace is one of the things that really attracted me to space. Now, space here there's a long heritage of space here at the University of Bradford, and this is actually coming and looking forward to the future as well, with a new space centre that's just been set up, with CubeSats going into space. Space in the UK is booming, and here at Bradford, you are following that boom and actually making space a future for everyone. And all my life, that has been my crazy dream, the idea of getting out into space. Because when you look at planet Earth from space, you don't see boundaries, you don't see barriers, you just see our planet, and you see sort of humanity working together. And I think also, and that's what drove my crazy dream as a child. Growing up, I didn't really feel I belonged in anywhere. When I go to school, people would say, why don't you go back home? And I used to think I only live around the corner. And when I went home and saw my relatives, they'll say, oh, you're a lost Nigerian, you don't speak the language. Space transcends all of that. And so I think we all need more space in our lives. And education can create that space here on Earth. It breaks down barriers, it encourages us to transcend borders, and it enables us to think outside the box. And here at the University of Bradford, we do that better than most. So finally, I'd like to mention that together we can do the seemingly impossible. And I think that's what makes me so excited about being here today. We are the graduates of 2024. When we work together, we can achieve the impossible. Thank you so much for listening.